So if you just got the new Galaxy Tab Active5, today we're going over some of the best tips and tricks to get the most out of your new tablet. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I had to change on mine was when you press and hold on the power button, unless you're using Bixby quite a bit, I would go into the settings under advanced features, and then under side button you've got the option of press and holding to wake Bixby, or the power off menu, which I kind of prefer. That way you can power it off or restart it. You also have the option of double pressing the power button to quick launch the camera, or you can open up pretty much any app on the tablet. You'll also notice under advanced features, you have active button, which is more unique to this specific tablet. You've got a couple options here. You can press on the button once to bring up an app, or you can press and hold to bring up another app. Probably one of the best features of this tablet is you've got the S Pen included, so you can do pretty much everything that you would do on a lot of the other Samsung tablets that have the S Pen. You can create notes, view all notes, Smart Select, write on the screen, pin up. You've also got other shortcuts that you can add on there. You'll also notice there's a button right here on the side. If you hold that, double tap the screen, you can actually write a note right on the screen, even with the screen turned off. Let's say you're not a big fan of this style of S Pen. Nice thing about Samsung tablets, you can actually use any S Pen from their other devices, like other Samsung tablets, or even the Ultra or Note phones. It's really nice to have different options to use as far as the size and style of S Pen. Just keep in mind, the only way to keep the S Pen attached to this tablet is in the case, so that might be a little more challenging if you do switch to one of the other styles of S Pens. Technically, the regular size S Pen from other tablets fits in this case and stays, it just sticks out a ways. Another nice feature on this tablet, since you have the physical buttons on here, to me it makes more sense to use the gesture navigation. That way you can use both gestures and the physical buttons down at the bottom. If you go into settings, start typing in navigation under search. Under navigation type, you've got two different options, buttons only or buttons and swipe gestures. You can also toggle this on where it says block gesture with S Pen, show button to hide keyboard, and gesture hint as well. If you are using button navigation, you'll notice you have a taskbar down here at the bottom. It does come in handy, but it can also get in the way in my opinion sometimes. If you go into settings under display, you'll see towards the bottom that there's a little toggle for taskbar. It's kind of nice to have that option where you can turn that off. And then if you're thinking, well, I do kind of like that on there, you can just go back and turn it right back on. Another feature that's exclusive to Samsung devices is this has Samsung DeX. The only problem with this tablet, you actually have to connect it to another device and it has to be wireless. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with an HDMI adapter, just a little more limited than some of the other Samsung devices. One feature that I always like on Samsung, you'll notice there's a little line over here on the side for the edge panel. You can add whatever shortcuts you want over there. You can also tap the little settings icon, and it gives you different options here like reminder, tools, weather, smart select, people, live, just a lot of different options here over in the edge panel. You can even tap and hold on an app to open it up into split screen mode. And then you can have two apps open at the same time. You can also tap there in the middle to switch the sides. Drag it over to the edge if you just want one app open. You can even do floating window where you can resize it and then move it around on the screen to pretty much any location. Then when you're done, just grab it here at the top. There's a little blue bar and swipe it down to where it says remove. There's also a couple different ways where you can do screenshots on here. One way is to use the Smart Select if you just want to do a section of the screen. The more traditional way is power and volume down at the same time. You can also go up to your notifications, to your shortcuts, click the little pencil, edit the one on the right hand side, and you'll see take screenshot is one of the options. You can drag that right up to here, tap done. Then when you go to your shortcuts, you've got it right there. You just tap on that and it does a screenshot. Or let's say you want your screenshot shortcut to be right there so you don't have to open it all the way. You tap on the little pencil, edit the one on the left where it says top. You might have to delete one from up there and then just tap and hold to drag it up. Tap done. And then when you swipe down once, you've got screenshot right here. You can also do a palm swipe to do a screenshot as well. If you go into settings, Under display, you've got adaptive brightness. I typically turn that off. I just like to control the brightness myself. Obviously, that's personal preference, but you can also go up here to your shortcuts where the brightness slider is. If you tap on the three little dots, you've got adaptive brightness right below it. Now, if you find that your screen shuts off a little bit sooner than you would like, you can always go into settings, under display. You've got the option of 15 seconds all the way up to 30 minutes. I think by default, it's probably on 30 seconds. I would change that to at least 1 or 2 minutes, just so it gives you a little more time before the screen goes to sleep. You can also toggle this down here where it says keep screen on while you're viewing it as well. Also under display settings, if you go to motion smoothness, you can save battery life a little bit if you change it from adaptive to standard. For adaptive, it'll go up to 120 Hz refresh rate versus 60 for standard. Just keep in mind, it's gonna be smoother on 120, kind of personal preference there. But if you do wanna save a little battery life, you could switch it to standard. Also, don't forget, because this has a fingerprint scanner, you want to make sure to put a fingerprint from both hands. That way when you're holding this in landscape mode, you can unlock it with either hand. If you go into settings and start typing in fingerprint, you hit the little plus symbol, then you can add a couple other fingerprints on there. Then it's just much easier to unlock the tablet regardless of which way you're holding it. Also, if you go into settings and search for gestures, under motion and gestures, you've got a handful of things to try here, like double tap to turn the screen on and off. You can also cover the screen to mute it, or palm swipe to capture as well. You may already know this one, but it's also kind of nice that you can connect a Bluetooth keyboard or a controller if you're going to be playing games on here. You just want to tap and hold where it says Bluetooth. You can turn that on and connect it right through here, or you can tap details. If you just tap scan, you should see the devices pop up here in the list. It's sort of the same way to connect a controller or a Bluetooth speaker or headphones. If you're connecting a keyboard, of course every device is going to be a little bit different. I know with this Logitech keyboard, it's going to want you to type in letters or a password before it pairs. So hopefully there's some of these tips that you might not have known, or to give you a good start on your new Galaxy Tab Active5. If you like phone, tablet, and other tech videos, I've got a lot more that I'm working on, so you'll want to keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.